The story of oats in Ireland is the story of local innovation leading to international success. Sometimes our traditions are our greatest assets. Harry Gray and his sons grow oats in West Waterford between the Cummeragh Mountains and the Atlantic Ocean. It's a very nice location you've got here.
Yes, well, I think it is, and it's only when somebody comes and brings it to our attention, because we're here for a good number of years now, and I suppose we get used to it.
Today's massive machines make short work of the cereal harvest, but Harry remembers when gathering the oats took a lot more effort.
A reaper and binder and horses that come into the field and to just put all into little sheaves, and then that'd be stacked, then to be taken into the haggard, and it'd be built into a rick. And then there was people that had threshing machines, and they'd come along and you'd have a day or two then maybe doing that, and you'd have a good lot of people out of around the area coming to help you.
The quality of the porridge oats really depends on the timing of the harvest. Like Goldilocks, the oats have to be just right.
Before you start harvesting, you would get random samples around the field of the crop itself, just to make sure that the moisture content in it is below 20% or 18%. Anywhere below that, you could start harvesting.
A crop of spring oats is difficult to grow. With the climate we have, with the moisture and everything in the air, you do get disease. You get your mildews and your rusts, and which you try to control with sprays and just general husbandry, really.
You could come up here after a bad night, and often we did, into some of our oat crops after a very bad windy night, and see the whole thing flat, like someone had combed their hair. And there's nothing at all you can do about it. I'd wake up during the night and hear it, and I nearly know what the morning was going to bring when I go see it.
And that's farming, isn't it? Because there's nothing you can do about the weather.
Nothing you can do, no. As my father used to say, we're under the canopy of heaven.
So within a few weeks, this beautiful crop here will find its way around the tables of Ireland and the rest of the world. But if we were here in the 1950s, it would have been horses that ate the majority of this crop, because it was horsepower that drove the Irish economy.
In the 1950s in this part of the country, there would have been a lot more oat production. Oat would have been a very important crop for horse fodder, for the horses that were ploughing the fields. And of course nowadays we have much more machinery that's going to do that job, so much less need for this fodder for the oat crop, so much less oat production at this time.
Although it's hard to believe nowadays, oats were once seen as a weed.
If we were standing in this field 6,000 years ago, we'd be looking at a field of wheat or barley crop. Oat would have been around at this time, but oat is just occurring as a weed of the wheat and barley crops, so it might be just occurring at the edge of the field. It's something the farmer is trying to remove from his crop.
Among the first evidence for the cultivation of oats in Ireland is an oat biscuit. This extraordinary find was made in a ring fort near Mallow in County Cork.
The biscuit is dated to the 7th century AD and was found in a hearth, which was inside a house. So the remains of maybe something that someone had thrown in the fire after their meal, or perhaps an oat biscuit that was baking by the fire and become burnt.
So these golden beauties are oats from Harry's farm. He's left them here where they're transformed into something that we can eat. This is Flahavans in Kilmacthomas, and there are two amazing things about this place. The first is that it's an Irish food business that sells internationally, but the second is that it's been in the same family since the late 1700s. John Flahavan is the current chairman. His grandfather would have carried out business with Harry's grandfather over 100 years ago.
And Harry, here's something that might be of interest to you. You recognise that name?
Yes, indeed, I do. I had no idea that there was anything like that around.
So your grandfather, which is also Harry, would have been dealing with my grandfather up here, Edward Flahavan?
I would think so, yes.
While technology may have changed over the generations, the process of making oat flakes has remained pretty much the same.
The basic thing you have to do is you have to dry it and clean it. Then you have to take the shell off the oat. You get a small kernel, and that kernel looks like a grain of rice. Then you chop that kernel into smaller pieces, and then you steam it and roll it. We've had to be very innovative over the years to make the product more convenient for the consumer, and we've doing a lot of product in the organic side. We've got a very wide range now in comparison with what we used to have.
One of the most surprising developments is that the company is now kosher certified. This allows them to sell into Jewish markets, particularly in America.
The rabbi comes over from London and he comes over to give us our certification every year. What he wants to make sure is that the sowing date of the oats is before the Passover. And the other requirement is that we're not producing meat products or something like that on the plant.
But the number one ambition for Flahavans is to see porridge on every breakfast table.
There are a few odd people that don't like porridge, so but we always try and convert them.
Given the long working relationship they've had with the Flahavans, the Greys are optimistic for the future.
Flahavans seem to be going from strength to strength, and they like to source their oats locally.
Well, 'tis great to see that 100 years ago my great-grandfather was growing oats for Flahavans, and I'd really hope to see maybe in another 100 years that they'd be my great-grandchildren or whatever would be growing oats as well.
Are you very pleased that your sons are joining you in this enterprise here?
Oh yes, I am. I suppose I'm only just third on the list now, I'd say, because they really run the operation there.
But I get the impression you've got the final say.
Well, I suppose so, yeah.